Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Trigger warning. Today I want to talk to you about an ongoing case of a little girl named Everly George. She is 3 years old. She is in New Hampshire, where our poor little Harmony was at. And the reason I'm bringing this case to your attention is because we want to prevent another child going through what Harmony went through. If anybody knows about Harmony's case, you'll understand, especially when I start reading these things off. I took some notes. But for those of you that are joining that don't know who Harmony Montgomery is, she's a little girl who wasn't reported missing for over 2 years. And once she was finally reported missing and they started looking into her case, it took a very long time, but they finally arrested her father, Adam, which I use that term father very loosely. So her parental person, let's say. So Harmony was in and out of the DCFS system multiple times because of the issues that both of her parents had. And ultimately what it wound up coming down to is she was with a foster family. She was thriving. She was happy. She was loved. She didn't want to be anywhere else. She was just a little ray of sunshine. She was just in the right place where she needed to be, with people who loved her and with people she loved. And a judge by the name of Mark Newman decided that despite Adam's horrific, violent criminal history, that and every red flag there known to man, that it would be okay for Harmony to get put into the custody of Adam. And because of this horrible choice, that poor child lost her life shortly after she went into the custody of her father. From the beginning, she was at a very, very bad situation going into Adam's home. Adam was in jail for, sorry, that's my doggy. Adam was in jail for shooting a man in the face. It was a drug dealer. He had been in jail for interference with custody, having a weapon, like a gun without a gun license. He did 18 months for shooting the dealer in the face. 18 months, yeah. And he also had home invasion, assault, robbery. He held a woman at gunpoint, and he got 2 years for that. So I don't even think we need to go any further than to know that this guy has a very poor choice lifestyle, let's call it, okay? So anyways, Judge Newman decided that that Harmony should go back to the custody of Adam because, reunification is more important than child safety in the world we live in, apparently. Anyways, so there is something that is called the Interstate Compact for Children, and basically what this contract is supposed to do is it's supposed to put in services that are in place to assure that the child is monitored and safe when they cross state lines. And this is what happened to Harmony. She was in one state and had to go to another state because of her father. Dog toy. Because of her father, and ultimately she suffered very badly. And when those who actually saw something tried to say something, it was not taken seriously. Sorry, watch out, beacon. There was repeated signs of abuse and neglect. Harmony had a black eye the last time somebody let eyes on her, and because Adams explained it away, it wasn't even looked at. And that's where we are with Harmony. Now we know that she is no longer with us, but she still deserves to be found because her bones are out there, and every child, like I say, deserves that right to be found, no matter what that may mean. So we're trying to prevent another child from being ripped from a loving, stable home and being handed off to a monster like how Harmony was. I am not saying that Samantha, which is Everly's mother, is a monster, so to speak, but she definitely does not have the best interest for Everly with the dangerous lifestyle she is living. I kind of didn't want to do a video on this topic because of the mom's career choice. I know people have a very, very mixed opinion when it comes to sex workers. And I will not be focusing this conversation, this conversation about Everly around what her mother's career choice is, because I don't want people to think that just because somebody's a sex worker, whether it be on the street or on the internet, makes them a bad parent. I want you to put into perspective that there are politicians, teachers, judges, police officers, CEOs that live great, stellar lives with wonderful, upstanding jobs, but yet they still harm children. They still are the ones that are on the news for the trafficking and for the demise of these children and horrific abuse. Just because somebody has a socially acceptable job does not mean they are a suitable parent. Just like if somebody has a socially unacceptable job, like being a sex worker or a drug dealer, what have you, or a fraud, like somebody that writes bad checks or whatever, that does not necessarily mean that they're going to abuse their child. It does not mean they're going to neglect their child. It does not mean that they are a horrible parent. However, when you have a career such as drug dealing, sex trade, whatever, you have a high-risk lifestyle. And high-risk lifestyles make the red flags and the potential for horrible things happening shoot through the roof. Anybody in this community knows the correlation between that and domestic violence, and what happens with these children that we cover is real. It's not just something that we make up. There are many cases that prove this. So we need to try and focus on Everly. We need to focus on the fact that, not that her mom is a sex worker, but the fact that her mom is bringing felons around her, okay? She's dating felons with, history of weapons charges, violent histories. She has not changed. She abandoned her daughter, okay? Everly has no relationship with Sam. Everly was with her brothers and family and was thriving and doing really good. She was loved. She loved being there. And then she was taken away from this very stable and healthy environment and handed to Sam, a person she has zero relationship with. They've had 30-minute, little play dates that have to be watched, and the guardian ad litem decided that that was enough. She seemed patient, she seemed calm, so obviously everything's fine. And let's be honest, that's not how things work in the real world. People can put on a show for as long as they need to get what they want, okay? And unfortunately, that could be the case here. I'm not saying Samantha is going to harm her child, so please do not come at me. What I am saying is there is physical proof of what Samantha is bringing Everly into. If you look at her pages and go through everything, she has a selfie with her then boyfriend by the name of James Jones, and it's him holding a gun, pointing the gun at the screen while she's taking a selfie with him. Then there's a video that's out there that he locks himself in the bathroom while Samantha's on the other side crying and whatnot, and he's sitting there smirking and laughing about it, And she made the post on one of her social media saying that it was okay because Everly was sleeping, so she didn't know what was going on. The other issue is when she's serving her clients, she's serving them in her home. Whether or not this was done with, any child there, I'm not aware of. I don't know. But where is she going to do this, okay? The current boyfriend that she has is also a felon. And let's also talk about the fact that when she was dating James Jones, shortly after, he was murdered because of his lifestyle. He was a gangbanger. He was a felon. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. Samantha herself was shot, I believe in the hand or something. Nothing, life-threatening, but that's not the point. The point is, this is a dangerous lifestyle to have a child in. The man she is dating now, 2 days, I believe, before she filed for the custody, I don't remember exactly, he was, getting charges, and it violent weapon charges again. It's just, there's a repeat behavior here. She abandoned her 2 sons, never made any attempt to do anything with them, and thank goodness her mother was able to take custody of those children and give them a good home. Her cousin was trying to do the same for Everly and finally was able to and was granted custody. And then everything got turned upside down because Samantha decided now she wants to be a mom. And to me, that's a red flag. You can't pick and choose when you want to have your child, when you want to be a parent. You cannot pick and choose when you're done living the lifestyle you want to be a parent. When you make the choice to sit down with somebody, and whether you intentionally get pregnant or not, it doesn't matter. You bring another life into this world, and at that moment, that is your priority. So when you selfishly do things, when you're overdosing, when you're taking drugs, when you're, out there gangbanging or, living in the clubs or whatever the hell it is you're doing, and you're not there for your child, you don't get that right. That child thrives off of the love of their parent from the very beginning. That child doesn't have that love from their parent from the very beginning. They're already at a high risk because they didn't get that development with their child, the mother-child bond. And I'm not saying that all these things apply to Samantha. I'm just speaking generally from everything we know and everything we see. So anyways, Samantha's history is very long, and her choices as far as her kids go has not changed. She essentially left Everly be for over a year, had no contact with her, and abandoned her. And to come into that child's life over a year later and introducing her for a couple of 30 minutes visits is not okay. You need to think about the welfare and the well-being of that child. And we saw what happened to Harmony. We don't want to see that repeated here with Everly or with any child. And what's even more astounding is it's in the same state. Different judge, same state. How many more Harmonies need to be out there before something is done? There should have never been a Harmony to begin with. That's the problem here. That should never have happened. How does a child go for 2 years not being seen before reported missing? What does that tell you? That tells you that this system is broken everywhere. Not just the parents, not just the DCF cases, the judges, everything, the police officers, all of it, teachers, whatever. All the systems worldwide are failing these children every single day. Everly is in the position to where this could happen to her. We are given the opportunity to not let this happen, or at least give a fighting chance so she doesn't wind up like Harmony or any other child that we know about. Sorry for my rant. I'm just trying to do this and get my point across, but it's a very, very frustrating topic because, like I said, we don't want to see this happen again. Everlys' family is still trying to fight for her. There is a petition on change.org. I will put the link in my description. I will also put the link in my description for you to go watch Darkness Exposed. Her channel, the video she did on this, I think brings up a lot of good points, okay? Better than I can explain it because she's been working on Everlys' case for a while. And I really encourage you guys to go watch her video. So getting back to this, the requirements of, her getting Everly back into her care was basically she needed a nice, safe place for Everly to live, to make sure she had her own bedroom and, suitable for a child, and to have a job, an income. There was no requirement to show any paycheck stubs. She showed her place of living virtually to the guardian ad litem, and the guardian ad litem never physically went there and saw this place. And her job is an online sex worker with the OnlyFans thing, and income-wise, it is more than suitable and meets the requirements. However, does this provide insurance? No. Could she get public aid from this to get insurance for Everly? Possibly, I'm not sure, because they go by income requirements and every state is different. More importantly, what about the men that she is dating and having around Everly? What if Everly decides that she's having, just a rough day? What if Everly has a meltdown? And whoever is watching Everly, whether it be the violent felon that she's dating or somebody else, who's to say they have the patience to handle a 3-year-old having a meltdown? As a parent, having a toddler having a meltdown is very hard to deal with, but we do. We have the patience. We handle it. But when you bring somebody who is violent, has a violent history, has a weapons charge, into a child's life that doesn't even belong to them, do you think they're going to give a crap? They don't. We've seen it time and time again, and I'm not saying biological parents are any better, because there are some out there that are worse than, these people that are brought into these children's lives. There are some parents out there who we know for a fact are horrific to their children. But if you're trying to do something right for your daughter, your 3-year-old child, the most important thing would be her safety. So having somebody with a criminal history, with weapons, with violence, that's not being safe. If you want to change and you want to do right by your child, that means you have to change who you hang out with. That means you have to change who you date. I'm not saying I didn't make mistakes as a parent growing up, because I know I did. I'm not saying I didn't date questionable people, because I know I did. But I got my head out of my ass, and I figured it out. And I knew what to do. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this is the case here. Again, I could care less about what her occupation is. That doesn't mean a damn thing to me. What makes me angry is I want to know why all of a sudden does she want this 3-year-old child with her? And I know those of you out there know what I'm talking about, and I can't say it on here, but keep your minds open. Think about this. Again, put into perspective what she is doing and who she is bringing around. Put in perspective everything we've seen happen with a lot of little girls who all of a sudden mom wants to play mommy to. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but I'm saying the people the questionable people, the unsavory characters that are being brought around this child. Do you think that's all of a sudden going to stop? No. This is this woman's livelihood. This is how she makes her money. Do you think she vets every single client she gets? Probably not. Most likely not. When you're turning out 2 tricks for the price of one with 2 females, do you think they really vet that kind of crap? It may not even be the person that is the client. It may be the person that she's deciding to do this job with. Because there are no morals when it comes to certain things. Sex, money, and drugs, and power. That's where those morals stop. And again, I am not saying that this is what's happening in this case. What I am saying is the red flags need to be analyzed. What I'm saying is a 3-year-old that was abandoned by her mother, okay? By her mother, had 0 contact with her for over a year, a complete stranger to her, now has been ripped out of a loving home where she was thriving and happy, and put with a stranger in a strange place around a bunch of strange people that she knows nothing of. She's 3. If she needs help, who is she going to tell? Do you think DCFS is really going to keep tabs on her? Look at how well that worked out for Harmony. Look at how well that worked out for Oakley or for Samaj. None of these kids did the system help. And there's thousands upon thousands more throughout the entire world that have been failed because of whatever excuse you want to make. They're overworked, underpaid, their caseload's too heavy, the child slipped through the cracks. And I said this in my other video. These children are not slipping through the cracks. They are falling through the damn floors at high rates that are extremely unacceptable. One child is unacceptable, but when you have hundreds of thousands for generations and decades out there, that's a goddamn catastrophe right there. This is not slipping through the cracks in the floor anymore. It hasn't been for a very long time, and people need to see it for what it is. Again, I encourage you, please go watch Darkness Exposed. She can explain Everlys' case so much better than I can. And also, do your own due diligence. Look into her case. Look and see what you can find. See if there's some kind of thing that sticks out to you that you could say, hey, this can be used to prove that she was better off where she was. I'm not saying to go and attack her mother. I'm not saying to, blow up the police station's phone numbers or whatever because of the mom's occupation. I'm not saying that at all, and please don't do that. What I'm saying is we need to fight for her. She has a family that is willing to fight for her, but this family needs help. And again, we don't want to see another Harmony. So please, thank you for watching this video. Go check out Darkness Exposed. The link is in the description. Go ahead and sign the petition. Try to be the change. We can't save every child, but we sure as hell can fight for everyone that comes across our way, and that's what we should do. Thank you for watching my video. Have a wonderful day.